AITA for refusing to speak to my brother's fiancée after revealing her parenting methods? All right, buckle up, this one's messy. I, 29F, never expected babysitting to spark a full-blown family war, but here we are. So last weekend, my brother Tom, 34M, asked me to watch his fiancé's kid, Dylan, 6M, for a few hours while he and Melissa, 32F, went out to Olive Garden or Cheesecake Factory or wherever suburban couples with zero chemistry pretend to enjoy each other's company. I wasn't thrilled about it, don't get me wrong, Dylan's sweet, but watching other people's kids has never been my thing. I agreed anyway because I figured it was just a few hours and hey, it's family. We were chilling at my apartment. I made Dylan some Kraft mac and cheese and gave him my old Xbox 360 to play Lego Star Wars. Everything was normal until he knocked over this tiny glass turtle I got at a weird gift shop in San Diego like 5 years ago. Things shattered instantly. It wasn't valuable or anything, but the second it hit the floor, Dylan went dead silent, then started sobbing like someone told him Santa was a lie. I tried to calm him down, told him it was totally fine, that it was just an accident, but he wouldn't stop panicking. Then he said, "Please don't tell my mom. She'll give me the quiet time." I paused. I was like, what? I asked what quiet time meant, and his face just changed. He looked scared in a way a 6-year-old shouldn't look. He said that when he messes up, Melissa makes him kneel in the corner, nose to the wall, hands behind his back, for an hour, sometimes 2. And if he talks or cries, she adds more time. No toys, no bathroom, nothing. Just silence. One time he peed his pants and she added another hour because he didn't ask nicely. I just kind of froze. I didn't want to scare him more, so I said something like, "Don't worry, nobody's mad, accidents happen," and tried to distract him with some leftover Oreos. But man, the entire rest of the evening, I was on edge. When Tom and Melissa came back, Melissa barely even looked at me, just asked how Dylan was, then pulled out her phone to scroll Instagram. I waited for a moment alone with Tom and told him what Dylan said. He brushed it off so fast it felt rehearsed. Said something like, "You don't get how hard it is to parent," and called Dylan over-dramatic. I asked if he seriously thought it was okay to make a kid kneel silently for hours. He gave me that half smile he does when he's trying not to lose his temper and muttered, "It's just a timeout. Chill." Nah, dude. That's not a timeout. That's some Catholic boarding school hell punishment. So the next day, I called Melissa. Yeah, probably a mistake, but I needed to hear what she had to say. I brought it up calmly at first, asked her to explain what quiet time actually meant. She instantly got defensive, said I was twisting Dylan's words and meddling in things I didn't understand. She dropped the classic, "You don't have kids, so don't tell me how to raise mine." Then she flipped, started yelling about how I was trying to sabotage her relationship and make her look abusive. At one point, she even said, "Maybe if you weren't so childless and bitter, you'd understand." Bro, I told her straight up that what she was doing bordered on psychological abuse. She hung up on me. Since then, it's been non-stop chaos. My mom thinks I should apologize for overstepping. My dad's pretending it doesn't exist like he always does. But my sister, she's on my side. She has 2 kids and said she'd never in a million years pull that kind of punishment. Tom texted me the next day saying I wasn't welcome at their wedding unless I apologized for attacking Melissa. I told him I wasn't saying sorry for speaking up about something that felt wrong. He left me on red. Now the family group chat's a dumpster fire. Mom's sending Bible verses. Melissa posted a weird passive-aggressive meme on Facebook about jealous women. And I'm sitting here wondering if I'm the crazy one or if everyone else has just collectively lost their minds. Was I out of line? Should I have kept my mouth shut? Because right now I'm the villain of this family and all I did was listen to a scared kid cry about a goddamn turtle. Okay, so I thought things had already hit peak disaster after I got uninvited from my own brother's wedding for, caring that his fiancée was mentally breaking her 6-year-old. But no, that was just the pre-show. The main act? That rolled in a few days later and made me feel like I was living inside a bad Lifetime movie. So here's where it gets messier. It's Thursday. I'm at Target picking up some random stuff, shampoo, protein bars, and one of those overpriced candles that smell like rich divorce energy. I'm walking through the home goods section when I hear a very familiar screech. "You need to stay where I can see you." I swear to God, I froze. I knew that voice. I peek around an end cap of throw pillows and there she is, Melissa. She's holding a Starbucks iced drink in one hand, looked like a pink drink, of course, the other gripping Dylan's wrist so tight I could see his little fingers flexing. Dylan looked miserable. He was dragging his feet and staring at the floor. Melissa, on the other hand, looked like she was auditioning for Real Housewives of Central Jersey. Fake lashes, yoga pants, big sunglasses on indoors. And get this, she had a second kid with her. Some girl I'd never seen before, maybe 10 or 11, also looking like she wanted to melt into the ground. I thought about walking the other way, really did. But then Melissa saw me before I could even move. Eye contact, instant tension. I tried to give her the world's most neutral head nod and keep it pushing, but she straight up storms over to me. "Oh, hi," she said with enough venom to kill a small dog. I said hi back calmly. She launches right in, loud enough that the old lady behind me pushing a cart full of Tide Pods literally paused to listen. "You happy now? You enjoying tearing my family apart?" I blinked, like, we're doing this here? In front of the up-and-up brand laundry baskets? She continues, "Tom hasn't slept all week because of you. Dylan's acting out worse than ever. He won't even look at me." I kept my cool and said something like, maybe he's scared of being punished for existing. And yo, that set her off. She full-on yelled, "Don't you dare talk about my son like you know him!" Which, like, he's not even her biological kid. She met Tom barely 2 years ago. Dylan calls her Melissa, not Mom. But whatever. At that point, the other girl with them, still no idea who she is, starts crying. Dylan's face turns red. This is all happening in the middle of a Target like it's a season finale of some trashy reality show. People are staring. I'm mortified. And then Melissa says, "I should call security on you for harassment." I laughed. Probably shouldn't have, but it slipped out. And I said, "For what? Existing in the paper towel aisle?" Then this random lady, a Karen in her natural habitat, pushing a cart full of Pepsi 12-packs and screaming toddler clothes, cuts in and goes, "Maybe take this outside. Some of us are just trying to shop." Melissa snaps at her too. I swear, if Target handed out gold stars for public meltdowns, she'd be Employee of the Month. Eventually, she storms off dragging both kids, and I just stand there like an idiot holding a clearance bath mat and wondering how the hell I became the villain in a story that started with child abuse. I check out, drive home, and guess what? There's a post on Melissa's Facebook by the time I get back. It's one of those black background, white text rants that boomers love to post when they're feeling persecuted. It said, "Some people can't mind their own business. It's called parenting, not abuse. Maybe if you had a life of your own, you wouldn't have to ruin someone else's." Jealous much mash family. Is everything hash watch your back. Tagging Tom, tagging her cousin, tagging me. Yeah, she tagged me. On blast. The comments, mixed bag of disaster. A few of her friends chimed in with, "Girl, you're doing amazing, forget the haters." One woman posted sending hugs with 5 heart emojis. But a couple people, thank God, started asking what she meant by quiet time and if this was about that kneeling stuff. She deleted those comments within the hour. Later that night, Tom calls me, not to apologize, not to ask what the hell happened, but to warn me. He says Melissa's really upset and that if I don't stop talking about her discipline choices, she's thinking about pressing charges for defamation. De-fucking-famation. I told him flat out, if you think making a kid kneel for hours is fine, maybe you're more of a problem than I thought. He hung up on me. Next day, my mom calls crying, says I'm tearing the family apart, tells me Tom's talking about getting full custody of Dylan and that Melissa's threatening to leave if the family doesn't choose sides. I asked my mom point blank, "So you'd rather I lie and let a kid get psychologically tormented because it's inconvenient to be honest?" She didn't answer, just said I needed to pray on it. I haven't replied to any texts since then. I skipped Sunday dinner. I unfriended Melissa. I've been stress-eating spicy Doritos and rewatching The Office like it's therapy. The thing is, this doesn't feel like it's about parenting anymore. This feels like something way darker. And I don't even think Tom realizes how deep he's in. I don't know what to do next, but something's off, and I don't think it's just Dylan anymore. Right, so let's rewind real quick. That girl in Target, the one standing next to Dylan, awkwardly hugging herself in an oversized hoodie that looked about 2 sizes too big? Yeah, her. At the time, I didn't think too hard about it. Maybe a neighbor's kid, maybe a cousin. Melissa strikes me as the type to volunteer to watch someone's kid for the clout and then make it all about how selfless she is on Facebook. But a few days later, I'm at this local coffee spot, not Starbucks for once. I needed to avoid running into any more suburban meltdowns. And I'm standing in line when I overhear 2 women talking behind me. One of them says, "Did you hear about the girl staying with the Hudsons? The one that got pulled out of school?" Hudsons. That's Melissa's last name. My ears perk up like a goddamn German shepherd. I wait until they leave and I ask the barista, who's maybe 19, nose piercing, looks like she's seen it all, if she knows anything about the Hudsons. She kind of laughs and goes, "Oh, you mean the chick who always returns half her Amazon orders in-store and makes a scene if she has to wait longer than 5 minutes? Yeah, they've got a foster kid staying with them. Real quiet girl, barely speaks." My heart just dropped. A foster kid? I get back in my car and pull up the state's online foster care resource page. There's a whole database, not with names or anything, but it lists certified foster homes in the county. And there it is, Melissa Hudson, certified 6 months ago. 6 months. No one in my family had mentioned this, not once. Tom hadn't said a word. And now they're fostering a literal child, possibly more than one, while Melissa's out here treating discipline like she read a punishment guide from Game of Thrones? Now I'm spiraling, like full-on iced coffee anxiety shaking kind of spiraling. So I do what any nosy, chaotic good sibling would do. I drive to my sister's house. She's got 2 kids, works in education, and unlike the rest of my family, actually cares about children's well-being. I lay everything out for her. The Target scene, the Facebook post, the girl, the kneeling punishments. I even show her screenshots of Melissa's weird discipline quote posts and the state's foster home listing. She's dead silent for a second, then goes, "This isn't just bad parenting, this is dangerous." We spend the next hour Googling. I'm not proud of it. We might have gone a little FBI mode, but what we found? Man. There were old tweets from Melissa's now-deleted Twitter, stuff like, "Kids today are way too soft. Kneeling never hurt anyone. I turned out fine. Discipline should hurt. That's how they learn. I swear timeouts need to come back hard." I swear to God, these were real. All from around the time she first got certified as a foster parent. And one was a retweet of a literal corporal punishment thread with the caption, "Exactly this. Thank you." That's when something just snapped in my brain. Because now it wasn't just Dylan. It wasn't just an accident with a figurine. There was a pattern. This girl in the hoodie, she didn't look sad. She looked numb. And I've seen enough to know the difference. That night, I called Tom again. I knew he wouldn't answer, but I had to try. Left a voicemail that was basically me begging him to think about what he was letting happen. Said I didn't care if he hated me. I just needed him to open his goddamn eyes. 2 hours later, Melissa texted me from Tom's number. Yeah, her, from his phone. The message said, and I quote, "You need to stop digging. This is none of your business anymore. We're family, but even family can become strangers." Straight mafia movie energy. I stared at it for like 10 minutes. My sister said I should report them. I didn't know what that would even look like. Do I call CPS, the police, the state? So I did the only thing I could think of. I reached out to Dylan's old kindergarten teacher. I still had her info from when I helped pick him up once last year. She'd always seemed really sweet, like the kind of woman who brings her lunch in a cloth tote and knows every kid's birthday. I sent her a message explaining the situation. I told her what Dylan said. I told her about the foster girl, about the quiet time, about Melissa's online behavior. She replied the next morning. She said she couldn't legally do anything, but she was glad I shared and that she was going to follow up through the appropriate channels. That sentence alone? I felt like I could breathe for the first time in days. But then, that afternoon, I get a call from Tom. He's crying, full-on sobbing. I could barely understand him. Said someone came to their house for a welfare check, that the foster agency was involved, that Dylan got pulled from school midday for questioning, that Melissa's been screaming at him nonstop and blaming me for ruining everything. He begged me to say it wasn't true, that I'd made it up, that I exaggerated. And I just said, I didn't make any of this up. Maybe if you'd actually paid attention to your kid, instead of letting her parent like it's 1850, we wouldn't be here. He hung up. No yelling, no swearing, just silence, like something finally cracked. And I'll be honest, I didn't sleep that night, not because I regretted it, but because I started wondering, if Melissa was doing this to Dylan, her future stepson, what the hell was she doing to a foster kid with no family at all? Alright, you've made it this far, so you already know this isn't just a family fight anymore. This shit's way past awkward dinners and wedding disinvites. We're in deep now, and I need you to understand something before I go on. Nothing could have prepared me for what that girl told me. Not the Facebook rants, not the screaming match in Target, not even Tom crying like he finally realized the house was on fire. None of it even came close. Here's how it went down. So after the welfare check happened, I didn't hear anything for a couple days. Dead silence from Tom. No texts, no calls. Not even one of those vague, "you ruined our lives" Facebook stories Melissa loves to post when she's not rage-tagging family members. I figured maybe CPS was stepping in and handling things. Maybe they took Dylan for interviews. Maybe Melissa had to cool it for once in her drama-packed life. Then on Sunday afternoon, my sister calls me. She's got this weird tone in her voice, like she's not sure whether she should be telling me something. "I think you should come over," she says. I ask why, and she hesitates for a second before saying, "That girl, the one with Melissa, she showed up at my house." What the hell? Apparently, around noon, this girl, who we'll call Jenna, not her real name, walked up to my sister's house alone. No bag, no phone, just the same oversized hoodie, messy ponytail, and a face that looked like she'd seen too much for someone her age. My sister's house isn't close. It's about a 45-minute walk from Tom and Melissa's, meaning this girl had been out there on foot, in 80-degree heat, just walking. No water, no plan. She said she remembered my sister's address from a birthday party they'd had for one of the kids and thought someone nice lived there. Let that sink in. This girl was so desperate, she walked across town to find someone nice. I rush over. My sister's sitting with her in the backyard, giving her Gatorade and a peanut butter sandwich. The second I see Jenna, I recognize her. Same blank stare from Target. Same nervous body language. Except now, she's shaking. Like full-body, teeth-chattering kind of shaking. and it's not cold out. We sit for a while. My sister keeps things light, asks her about school, her favorite movies, basic stuff. She answers in whispers, barely above a mumble. Says she likes Encanto but isn't allowed to watch it anymore because Melissa says it encourages disobedience. I don't even know what the fuck that's supposed to mean. Eventually, I ask her gently why she left the house. She doesn't respond right away, just fiddles with the cap of her Gatorade like she's trying to unscrew her own thoughts. Then she says it. She told me if I cried again, she'd put me in the garage. The garage. I ask what that means. My sister looks like she's about to stand up and call the police right then and there. Jenna goes on. Says that when Dylan cried during quiet time, Melissa told her that boys are weak and girls have to be tougher. That she doesn't tolerate whining from girls because that's how bad women are made. So when Jenna got caught crying one night, quietly, alone in the bathroom, Melissa made her sit on the cold garage floor for 2 hours. Lights off, no blanket, just sitting. Melissa told her the spiders would keep her company. I don't cry easily, I really don't. But hearing her say that in that small robotic voice, I had to turn my face so she wouldn't see. I ask if she told Tom. She shakes her head. Mr. Tom is at work a lot, and when he's home, she's nice. Nice. Of course she is. Classic manipulation playbook. Abusers don't abuse in front of witnesses. They do it in quiet corners, behind closed doors. When no one's around to hear a child ask if the spiders in the garage will crawl on her knees. My sister and I exchange a look. No words. Just that silent panic you feel when you know something's way more serious than anyone realized. We call CPS. Again. This time with Jenna right there. I let her use my phone to talk. She was nervous, but she did it. She told them what she told us. They told us someone would be dispatched immediately. And here's where things really pop off. We hear a car pull up in the front driveway. Not CPS, not even 10 minutes later. It's a Tesla. Tom's Tesla. The one he bought last year on credit because Melissa wanted an eco-friendly car that still looks expensive. He jumps out and starts shouting across the lawn, "Where is she? What the fuck is going on?" Jenna hears his voice and starts shaking again. My sister tells her to go inside and she bolts for the house. Tom rounds the corner and sees me and my sister standing there. He's flushed, sweating, hair a mess, no Melissa in sight. "She ran away," he yells. "Melissa just called me. She ran away and you have her? What the hell are you doing?" I step forward. I say, "She didn't run away. She came here because she's scared of what's happening in your house." He tries to talk over me, rambling about how we're blowing things out of proportion, how Melissa is strict but fair, and how Jenna just has trouble adjusting. I lose it. I just start yelling. "She told us you guys locked her in a fucking garage, Tom." That shut him up real quick. He goes pale, stumbles a bit like someone punched him in the chest. "Melissa told me she was lying, that she was making things up for attention." I laugh, not because it's funny, just because of how insane this whole thing has gotten. I ask, "So what, you just believed her? You didn't even ask?" He doesn't answer, just looks toward the house like maybe he can still fix this. But it's too late. 10 minutes later, CPS pulls up. 2 people get out. Clipboard, badge, the whole 9. We explain everything. Jenna talks to them. They take her with them. Calmly, gently. Tom doesn't say a word. And here's the part that hit me hardest. Before Jenna left, she looked back at me and said, "Thank you for listening." That's it. That one sentence fucked me up for the rest of the day. Tom sat on the grass for almost an hour after they left. Didn't speak. Melissa didn't show. He just sat there. In his designer polo, in front of the house he doesn't own, watching the sun go down like maybe if he waited long enough, none of it would be real. All right, strap in. This is where the wheels fall off completely. Because just when I thought we were done, that CPS would step in, that Dylan and Jenna were finally safe, that maybe Tom would get a clue and grow a pair, the universe decided, nah, let's toss in one last nuclear-level family meltdown. Let me back it up a little. After CPS took Jenna, things got weird. Not quiet, weird. Melissa deactivated all her social media accounts within 24 hours. Like every single one. Poof! Facebook gone. Instagram wiped. Even her Pinterest boards disappeared, and I didn't even know people could delete those. Tom stopped talking to everyone. Didn't show up at work for 2 days. My dad said he called him once, and Tom picked up just to say, "I'm handling it," and hung up. Then there was Dylan. So apparently he got moved into temporary care while things were being investigated. Not adopted, not fostered, just kept away from Melissa while CPS did their thing. My sister heard it from a friend who works in family law. Totally unofficial, but still. My parents? Split like a goddamn Kit Kat bar. My mom went full damage control mode. Suddenly she was on Facebook posting vague Bible quotes and family is forever bullshit. She even tried organizing a group prayer call. My dad, meanwhile, pulled his classic move. acted like nothing happened, like we hadn't just detonated a grenade under Thanksgiving dinner for the next decade. Then came the bombshell. Tom and Melissa were still getting married. Yep, for real. Despite the CPS report, despite the foster license being revoked, despite half the family basically ghosting them, they were still planning on having the wedding. And even better, they moved the date up, like they were trying to beat the clock before someone physically tackled them at the altar. So here's where I probably should have walked away. Like fully detached, blocked them on everything, called it a day. But no, your girl made the mistake of trying to do the right thing one more time. I sent Tom one last message. Simple, civil. Said, I hope you think long and hard about the kind of future you're locking yourself into. You know what she did? You saw it. If you're still going through with this, just know I won't be there. I love you, but I won't watch you marry someone who hurts kids. He didn't respond. Shocker. The wedding was supposed to be small. Backyard style, budget rustic vibes. Pinterest mason jars. A catered Chipotle bar. Don't ask. My sister and I stayed home. My parents went because of course they did. The best part, it didn't even happen. Yup, the wedding never went down. Melissa didn't show. She ghosted him. On his wedding day. Left him standing there like a confused mannequin in a Men's Warehouse rental tux. Guests were already there. Food was set up. My mom was apparently 2 glasses into a red wine bottle and halfway through sobbing about losing her babies when someone realized Melissa was just gone. She never called, never texted, just disappeared. No one knew until later, but she had already packed a bag the night before and left town. Her car was gone. Her phone was off. She told one of her friends she was sick of being treated like a villain and couldn't stand being judged for being a strong parent. That friend? Yeah. She showed the text to my sister 2 days later, screenshots and all. Tom completely imploded. My dad had to drive him home. Said he was white as a sheet, didn't speak the entire ride, just kept squeezing this little envelope he was supposed to read to her during the ceremony. I guess it was full of vows or some sappy shit. I'd feel bad if I didn't still see Jenna's face in my head every time I thought about him. Melissa hasn't been heard from since. Seriously. No one knows where she went. Not her friends, not her coworkers, not even Tom. My sister thinks she skipped town to stay with some distant cousin in Arizona. I think she knew what was coming and ran before it caught up to her. And Tom, he's different now. Weirdly quiet. Like something cracked in him that day and never reset properly. He called me about a week later. Said he was sorry. Said I was right. Said he didn't know how bad it was until Jenna talked. That Melissa kept him separate from the punishments. Told him Dylan was just sensitive and needed tough love. He said he couldn't stop seeing Dylan kneeling in that corner. Said he'd asked him about it. Dylan didn't cry, just nodded. I didn't say I told you so. I wanted to. I really wanted to. But all I said was, what matters now is what you do next. He's trying. He's going to therapy. He's meeting with a lawyer to see about full custody of Dylan. The foster license is done. CPS has him on a list. Melissa's flagged for investigation. And there's talk of court stuff happening if Jenna decides to speak officially. We're not pushing her. As for me, I'm exhausted. Family's still weird. Holidays are going to suck. But I don't regret a single thing. I stood up for a kid. For 2 kids, actually. And even though it tore everything apart, I'd do it again. Every time. Because here's the truth no one wants to admit. Sometimes doing the right thing doesn't make everything better. Sometimes it just burns the whole thing down. But if that's the only way to get the poison out, then light the fucking match. AITA for refusing to apologize? You tell me. Because I still don't know if I saved my brother or ruined him. Thanks for watching. If you liked the story, hit subscribe. See you in the next one.